Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's E.D. Lewis, and welcome back to E.D. Lewis Reviews. Before we get started this time around, I'd like to remind everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. Please like the videos, and please leave comments if you have any comments, questions, anything, even off the top of your mind, suggestions, it's up to you. I love reading comments, so they're fun. Please keep them nice and polite and preferably PG, but, some people don't have a habit of talking PG or even PG-13, but please, nothing inappropriate, because that's not nice. So, anyway, so welcome back. This time, I know I keep saying, I can't help it. It's a bad habit. Anyway, this time around, we are doing a Gothic novel. I think we did a short story last time, and I think before that was a movie review, so I'm going back to a novel review, a book review. And we are visiting the British author, acclaimed British author. Even though she's no longer with us, she's still loved by many people, and her writing is still very good. Although I've only read one of her books. I do have a couple of her books on my shelf, and I'll tell you what those are. Anyway, this week we're doing, or this time around, we're doing 9 Coaches Waiting by Mary Stewart. The other books the books that I have, because I don't own this book, this is not mine, this is a library copy. The books that I own of hers, I haven't read them yet, are Touch Not the Cat, Thorny Hold, and This Rough Magic. So, those are on my bookshelf. I plan on reading them eventually, but I have not read them yet, and so... What got me interested in this book, actually, was I read it in a article about Gothic fiction, about Gothic romance, and it mentioned 2 authors, one being Mary Stewart, and the other being, I think, Joan Aikens, something like that. And it mentioned this book in particular, as well as Touch Not the Cat. And it said that this one is as Gothic as it gets, and that's possibly so. I couldn't really say personally. Well, in my opinion, because Gothic, I feel, even though there are some set conventions with Gothic, I think Gothic is a little more fluid. So I don't know if I'd really consider this one to be as Gothic as it gets. If I compare it to, like, Jane Eyre, then probably so. But, it's pretty good, though. I like it. So, this book, 9 Coaches Waiting, was published in 1958. It was one of Mary Stewart's early novels. Mary Stewart, by the way, is known for her Merlin saga, which I've not read those, but I've heard they're very good. I like Arthurian literature, but I just can't seem to get into too much Arthurian books and stories that weren't, the older legends. I like the really old stuff, the earliest stuff, before Le Mort d'Arthur, or however you pronounce that, The Death of Arthur, by Marlowe. Was it Marlowe? No, not Marlowe. Mallory, sorry. That was different author. By Sir something, Sir Thomas Mallory, is that his name? I don't know, anyway. I like the older stuff before the French legends came into the picture, personally. So, before Lancelot and all that. But anyway. So, this, it takes place in contemporary time, so it takes place in the late 1950s when it was published. It tells the story about Linda Martin, who comes to the Chateau Valmy to become the English governess to a 9-year-old count by the name of Philippe de Valmy. She has a secret of her own, which continues to be an ongoing plot device in the book, that she withholds from her new employers, and she fears that if it were to be discovered, she's afraid they would make her very untrustworthy in these people's minds, which understandably so. She's an English governess coming to France, and I really want to tell something of her secret, but I feel like that's kind of giving a little bit of the plot away. But it's kind of major to what I just told you right there, that she's an English governess coming to France. So that has to do with it, and I really probably shouldn't say any more about that. Soon after she comes to the house, takes up her new position, the house itself is overtaken by an air of tension and a peculiar incident which places makes her fear anyway that Philippe's life is endangered. So she decides to take matters into her own hands to protect the child. That's kind of a general overview of what the book is about. And I rather enjoyed it. It's kind of a long read. It's like 342 pages, which can be somewhat long depending upon the writing. I think the way she writes it, it seems longer than it is, but it's still very good. It's kind of a slow start, but there's a lot of information, a lot of characters to meet. Since it is Gothic romance, there is a love interest. So our heroine finds love, but it's not the main focus of the story, of course, since it's, Gothic. There are a cast of shifty characters, which include her love interest, whose name, by the way, is Raoul de Valmy, and his father, Leon de Valmy. And there is plenty of adventure, especially when she decides to take matters into her own hands. And there's plenty of intrigue, especially with her secret and the whole incident. And there's a lot of suspense, especially in quite possibly from the middle of the book onward, or at least during the third act. There's quite a bit of suspense, and you find out the resolution. We'll just leave it at that. So I highly recommend this book. If you like Mary Stewart and you're more familiar with her than I am, you would probably very much enjoy it. If you enjoy Jane Eyre and other Gothic novels like that, you would definitely enjoy this book. And there's another very Jane Eyre book that's from about the same time. I think it is. It's from an author that was writing around the same time anyway. And that's Victoria Holt, and I plan on doing a review on that book too. I wasn't overly impressed with that one. I liked this one so much more, and that was The Shadow of the Lynx by Victoria Holt. But it was still good, and it started out very Jane Eyre, and of course to me, Jane Eyre is pretty much the gold standard of Gothic, So I love Jane Eyre very much. So that's the book, 9 Coaches Waiting. Oh, real quickly, the title does have a lot to do with the book. The coaches, there are 9 coaches, and it's every kind of vehicle that she goes through, and she's thinking within her head, and it helps move the plot forward in some way. There are other times where she gets in the vehicles, but they're not counted as coaches, and so you'll have different points of the book that will say first coach, second coach, 9th coach, so on, I know I jumped to 9th, but but they're significant to the story. So, and also we have kind of the house in the background, and the woman kind of running away. She's got the child, and of course, every time children are included in Gothic stories, they always add a bit of extra tension there. So, check out Mary Stewart's 9 Coaches Waiting. This is an old copy from the 70s. There's a much more updated cover. There's several, actually. There's one that has mostly just the house, and it's a very Gothic-looking house. I love that cover. That's probably my favorite cover for this book. But this is, I think, another popular one, and it's from 1970s. So, check it out. And before we go, today I want to, of course, plug my book, The Curse of Ridge House, by a Gothic novel by E.D. Lewis. So, yeah. It's about a girl who does not go to be a governess, but she comes to be a secretary to a prominent widow in the little town of Writer's Peak at the mysterious house called Ridge House. Or like I said, the mysterious house of Ridge. And she also finds love from a mysterious, gorgeous man named Quentin Peters, but soon tragedy strikes in her new surroundings, and she finds herself in mortal danger. Who can she trust? And what is the mystery of the Curse of Ridge House? You'll have to read it to find out. But this book is available in Kindle edition and paperback, like so, from Amazon. So just go to Amazon, type in The Curse of Ridge House, and you should be able to find it. You can also go to my author's page, which is also on there. I don't have a picture up yet, but I plan on having one soon. Just I've been busy. And yeah, so. And you can check me out on Wattpad. I do have Wattpad. I haven't been active on it for a while. I have some really, really short horror stories on there. And I have the first chapter from the rough draft of this, so it's a little different. It starts out a little different than how the book ends up starting out, and the main character's name is almost completely different. Her first name is different anyway. So check that out. You can find me on Wattpad. My name is not on there as Gothic Jockstrap anymore. I had that changed now, so can't remember what it is. I think it's Edie Lewis Gothic or something like that, but I'll let you know in one of the future videos anyway, so please check that out. And before we go, again, one more thing. Mardi Gras is coming up. I don't know if you celebrate that, but happy Mardi Gras. I plan on doing a video on Mardi Gras, so this Tuesday, and I have a book picked out for that, and I think it's at least somewhat appropriate for it due to the location that it takes place in. So if that's any hint to you, and it is Gothic romance, Gothic horror, and it's from more contemporary time. So if that gives you any hints at all, I hope you'll be back to check that out. It's one of my favorites, from probably my second favorite, or potentially she may actually, and yes, it is she, may be my favorite Gothic writer. So I used to say that Marilyn Ross is my favorite Gothic writer. Well, this author may actually be my favorite over Marilyn Ross. So, anyway. Have a good afternoon, and be safe. Have a good Mardi Gras, and have a great weekend. I hope you have a good start to your week. So I will see you in a few days. Please like and subscribe and comment. Bye-bye.